Welcome back, everybody, to your favorite podcast where we break down all the dope shit. Today, we're joined by a camarada from the CalifaRap forum,
a native from the harbor area of Los Angeles, and a good friend of mine. I don't know what he likes to go by his first name or Milo Minder Bender.
Just recently, it's just been LT for this
LT.
Yeah.
All right.
Just
all right. I know you look up to LaDainian Tomlinson from the San Diego Chargers, so I'll leave it at that. So the reason I wanted to have you on here, Luis, is because you grew up in the harbor area, and Strong Beach to be exact.
It's the L and the B that makes me act like a G.
So what got you interested into Chicano rap?
Probably about 13 or 14 years old. My friend's brother had a big, at that time it seemed like a pretty big collection. It was probably like 40 or 50 CDs that he had, and he had a lot of local stuff. Like he had Bago and Little Squirrel, Little Rob. So this was around probably 98 or 99.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just so just listening to his collection that I got into it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Those names, man. Little Squirrel. I've never listened to his album because of that, dude. Because I always say you can't judge an album by its cover, but the name, man, we gotta work on those fucking names, dog.
That's true.
Agreed.
Since you hail from the harbor area, we wanted to explore a little treasure from your neck of the woods. So 1997's Here's to You by Lawless. This was originally released by Eastside Records.
Around what year did that album come out? Do you remember?
That Here's to You album, I want to say was must have been put out I want to say in 97 maybe?
Yeah, like 97, I remember.
Yeah.
Under what label did that album come out on?
That one came out on Eastside Records.
How did you first come about hearing this, Luis?
Here's to You, I actually heard it after their second album,
A Way of Life.
Way of Life. Way of Life was the first Lawless CD I heard, and then later on, once I started buying CDs more regularly, it was this one that I ended up picking up. One of the times that I grabbed it, I used to go to the swap meet that they used to have. I think it closed down for now, but they had a swap meet at the Harbor City College, and they had a swap meet there every Sunday, so I would go and grab a bunch of random stuff. And
nice.
Yeah, that's where I ended up grabbing it one day.
I was at the swap meet today. I'll never be too good for the swap meet.
It's not my favorite. It's not as far as Lawless CDs. This one is not my favorite.
What? You know what?
I like the Way of Life better.
Really? Well, maybe it's because you heard it first, and that's probably why you're more bonded to it. What about you, Six? When was the first time you heard this shit?
How I came about this album, I actually just knew of Lawless, but just through Rhodium. I found out of the album through your recommendation. You told me to check it out. I found it at a good price, and those were my first spins on it. A year to 2 years ago. So
yeah. So Six is he's been listening to this shit too for a long time, but he's been more focused on San Diego shit. You know how you have your niche for harbor area stuff that shit that I didn't even know about, the Hit Squad and fucking Bago and and a bunch of other obscure local artists. That's kind of how Six got into Chicano rap, was just doing all the Southeast and everything that was coming out. Yeah.
Nice,
man. I know you got some history on this group, and you were actually the first person, Luis, to tell me about the name that they used to go by for Outlaws.
Share with us a little bit of your history, because before you did the Lawless, you were the Outlaws.
Exactly.
Okay.
We were the Outlaws.
When did that start, and who was a part of the Outlaws?
The Outlaws was a group made up of me, my homeboy Rock, his brother Shotgun, and one of my homeboys named Sapo. Yeah.
Okay.
But his rap name, we used to call him a cue ball. It lasted, the Outlaw thing lasted, I think it died before it even got going. That's the thing. I mean, we were always trying to dibble and dab in the music.
You want to recap on anything that you think our listeners might want to know, or something that fuck, even we might not know?
I probably wouldn't be able to tell you much more than what he talked about on his on that Rodham radio interview. That was their name before they switched to Lawless for whatever reason. But yeah, I'm still looking for that tape too. So if anybody has it, sell it to me.
I know Tony A mentioned he has it, so hopefully one day he comes into some sort of agreement with G, and they decide to put it out officially, and it'd be great to have a physical copy of something like that, because that's some dope, obscure underground shit, and I'm dying to hear what that fucking Enemy song sounds like unedited.
Yeah, right. That it's supposed to be even more dissing the Enemy.
Yeah, a lot more blatantly obvious, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, so if anybody has it, like, let me borrow it. I'll tape it up. I'll digitize it. Yeah.
I remember getting a demo. It was a CD demo that had the song "The Enemy." Mm-hmm. I know somewhere amongst my CD collection, I still have it.
What?
I've said this before, you really can't judge a book by its cover, but this is one of those few instances where you can. And I mean, I fucking love this cover, dog. I think it draws you in immediately. I assume that's Raul G getting frisked over the hood of what looks like a 66 Chevy Caprice. And then if I'm not mistaken, that's the LA River in the back, right?
Probably not the LA River. It's gonna be. Let me see. Hold on. Let me actually open up. Let me find the tape.
Oh yeah, you got the tape, huh?
Yeah. I doubt. No, that's gonna be the. It's probably
that 6th Street.
That Vincent Thomas Bridge. I'm guessing.
Okay.
One of those bridges right there by the port.
The port of Los Angeles.
Oh, that could be it. That could be it. I don't know, man. You know that area a lot better than I do. But I like this cover. I think it's classic all around. What's your quick opinion on that?
The cover is dope. I like the cover. I like their concept for it. I like it. I don't know if it well, actually, Here's to You. I don't know if this cover would go with that name, right? But I mean, it's a dope picture.
I think it's more along the name Lawless. That probably implies the guy getting frisked by a cop on the front cover. I don't know. What do you think, Six?
I like the album cover. I like the font that says Lawless. I love the car. Love the picture. Just not too big on the album title. But other than that, everything's a go.
Before we get started, I always like to share a quick fact. So I want to give Tony A his flowers because, I feel like he probably gets...
Round of applause.
Chipped a lot on the credits, but we're gonna give him his flowers. This was produced by the Wizard from Wilmas. I think he did 90% of this, right? 9 out of the 10 songs that are on here were produced by him, and the first one was produced by Tony G, another great producer.
A lot of people don't know that Lawless album had 10 songs. I produced 9.
Yes.
And Tony G produced 1. Mm-hmm. I think it was the side track 1.
So what do you guys think of that first track by produced by Tony G and featuring Nino Brown and ALT?
Lawless clique. G-Spot. We putting it down. Right here.
I'm always a big fan of the Tony G production, and I like it. I don't know. And then ALT too. ALT, I've always been a fan of ALT. And as far as production, yeah.
Okay. As for me, the song and quality of the beat, sick as fuck. Of course, Julio G and Tony G brought it. The beat lives up to the name. Good and strong song to lead off the album, especially that fucking gangster ass fucking synthesizer. That shit, I give that shit a go. So far, I got a good impression of Mr. G's rapping style. I got a good impression of the rapping style. Actually, he actually hangs with Nino Brown and ALT, who of course also brought it in the album as well.
Deal with them with the scanless mechanism. Fucking off all criticism. For instance, the resistance turn on existence.
So those are my thoughts on that song.
You know, if you've read what I've written on CalifaRap, then you know where I stand on this. I think this album, as well as the song, it's very privileged because you have major guest appearances from rap veterans like AOT and Nino Brown on this first track. And I think that's probably where this album shines, is on its features. I said it before. AOT is my favorite rapper from LA. If you consider the SGV to be LA, I don't know how you LA fools feel about that shit. But you know what? Like, I don't think AOT did his best verse on here. You know what I mean? Like, it seemed different to me.
Everybody act cool, you know the rule. Put away the tool. Little ass young bucks can act like a fool.
It was kind of an unusual format compared to his other rhymes, but you know, I will agree with what Six said. I think Mr. G held his own alongside veteran AOT. I think Nino Brown's voice on the chorus was dope, really raspy, really rough, real rugged and shit. So I think it makes for a good hook. But that sample that you were talking about, Six, that's from Quincy Jones. That's Ironside, his sample, and you can hear that shit on Down for Whatever by Ice Cube, on the East Coast West Coast Killer by Group Therapy on that, you know, Aftermath project, Murder Rap by Above the Law, and you know, it's just overall I dig this fucking track. I think it's dope.
Okay. Yeah. Now one more thing that I also want to say before we move on to the next song is that one thing that I did agree with your review wise is that this album specifically, compared to a lot of other Chicano rap albums, of course it had that LA production, but it sounds like you said, a mainstream album. I agree with that 100%.
Overall, I think it is pretty well done. I don't think it's like a mainstream album like the whole way through, but I do think there's a few tracks like the Everyday Player.
Except for Corrido. All right, except for Corrido.
Yeah, we can get to that. We can get to that. Track 2, Can I?
Can I get my legs in? My legs in? Can I get my legs in? My legs in? Can I get a lick in? My legs in? Girl, just let me stick the tip in.
I'll lead this. I'll take it away, dude. So I can't really say much about this jam. You know, the jam, without sounding disrespectful, it sounds like he's simping. You know, and you know, like asking permission to get his licks in. I don't know, dog. You know what I mean? I'm not big on misogynistic songs, so maybe that's just my prerogative. But maybe it's because the tune has a faster tempo. I don't know what the fuck it is. I don't really like this track. Maybe it's one of those bubblegum songs that Mr. G said he had to do to get a deal with Eastside Records and shit.
All that was done through Bill Walker. When we first took him our first stuff, they said the same thing to us. That's too street. If you can come up with something that's more commercial, like something that I can put on the radio.
Right.
And he's like, I'll hook you guys up with the record deal. So I was like, you know what? I'll break it down a little bit and I'll make some bubble gum. And in return, I'll flood the album with all the stuff I like to do.
I would have preferred to have Bed Drama on this album instead of this song. Have you guys heard that?
No, I have not heard Bed Drama, but I've heard about it through you. I will definitely listen to that. I'll get to it. My thoughts on Can I? Good beat. You know, it does give that vibe that it's like a seduction sexual song, but I don't like the song. I mean, the beat to me, it seems like the beat's tailor made for Sugar Free. So when I hear that Sugar Free vibe, I can only picture Sugar Free rapping on it, and I just don't like how Mr. G just does not have the rhythm for this kind of song, and I definitely don't like the chorus. I'll keep it simple on that one.
Yeah, I always skip this song too. Skip.
Can I gang?
Yeah.
BB bang. On to track 3, man. Who's next?
This one I like. I do like this one. This is one of my favorites. One of my favorite songs on the album. I noticed he mentioned that 93 song, the Enemy version. But yeah, I mean, this one's cool.
Down the back was me, back in 93, with my finger to the crowd, saying fuck the enemy, I'm the G.
This one it's one of my favorite. This one's one that I still play. Like I'll let play on the random songs.
I love the beat. You know, I like the wow. That shit's very engaging. Cool little fucking guitar strings in it. It's a very good idea to let the beat ride on the chorus. But however, I feel like Mr. G just lacks rhythm and smooth transitions into the beat. But he does enough to make the song one that I can bump.
I have a short summary of this too, and it's not because I don't like it that it's short, but I think it just does enough for me to play it. So I think it's a really entertaining track. You know, as the instrumental itself is pretty dope. Tony A's production gives a more hip-hop vibe than a gangster rap vibe, with the sound of the turntables and the hypnotic loop. I think it's really captivating. I hear a lot of similarities between this song and that song by Delinquent Habits called What It Be Like. I don't know if it's the hypnotic turntable sound effect or what the fuck it is, but I don't know why I find so much similarity between those two tracks.
I have a suspicion he uses a lot of ghostwriters. And
I think so too.
So you could hear like the different different styles between the songs and stuff. So I don't know. That was just my thought on that one. So I mean, you could kind of like, especially on the later CDs, you could tell who's writing the songs for him. And like on we'll get to the American Dream song later. I'll talk about that.
Okay.
All right. Cool. I know what you're gonna say about West Side Grim. I can almost read your fucking mind about it, but we'll get to that. So track number 4.
It's a good beat to listen to. I mean, we listen to it just in the car or whatever. I think the only thing is, I don't know why they included it on the album as far as just a random instrumental in the middle of the CD.
There's a story behind that. I like the track, but before I get my fucking 2 cents in there, I know my boy Six has a story for why there is nobody rapping on this.
A reliable source told me that bottom line, that Mr. G just flat out could not rap to the beat, so they just threw it on as a filler, which I'm glad they did.
Yeah,
that's just pretty much it, and good, because that beat, something to ride to. I mean, if Mr. G was gonna rap to that, he had to rap to that damn near perfect. Because damn, dude, that honestly, that beat, that instrumental, it sounds like it could have been a big West Coast hit in the '90s. It gives me like Warren G vibes all around. You know.
Yeah.
I love. This is a song that I play this song all the time. I love to drive this song. I bump this song all the time. So this song gives it a go.
Exactly. I think this song really lives up to its name, right? It is something to ride to. I drive up the 5 every day, to and from. So I'm driving from North County, San Diego, all the way to South Orange County. And so I'm cruising through the 5 along the beach. And this song is a must to play. It's just pure fucking magic. And, you know, it's I don't know how often I've played this track, and I can't say anything bad about the composition, the instrumental, or just the way that it plays. The only thing that does suck is that there isn't somebody rapping to it. But you know, if you want to hear somebody rap to this, there is a track out there, Mr. Vic. So shout out to Vic from Santana. He actually, what up, Vic? Yeah, he actually has a track where he raps over this, and I think it's mostly in Spanish, if I'm not mistaken. Con mis ojos todos grifos, detengan a sus jainas, soy incontrolable, capaz de tumbártela y causar un desmadre en tu relación. In the zone, so I love driving to fucking something to ride to.
It's my favorite. That one, along with the opening track, are my favorite instrumentals of the album.
Really? Elaborate on that shit.
Something to ride to, and the first song on the album, the gangster shit. Those are my favorite instrumentals. Okay. Those are my favorite instrumentals on the album.
Gotcha. I thought you were talking about el corrido.
Oh, no. I'm ready to talk about el corrido.
Este es el corrido de los perros callejeros, guerrilleros, pistoleros, vivimos por el cohete y el dinero y así. Bla, bla.
G's rhythm and delivery to the song. I like how it kicks off right away. But however, the song should have stayed in Spanish. Part of me wants to even say he sounds better in Spanish. But what's kind of intriguing is that this was recorded in 1996, right? Released in 97. But this, to me, it has like Mexican Spanish rap all over it. Like, that Control Machete sound, that Quinto Sol sound. It's like, you can just tell when it's like a Mexican rap beat. Not like Diablo, but you can just tell that. But the thing is, all this Spanish rap, that kind of like Spanish rap style came later on. So that it just trips me out. But I like the chorus, even though I'm not too big on Spanish rap. But there is better. I'm not too big on the beat. Those are my thoughts on it.
Okay.
I actually like the beat better than the lyrics. I know you hate the guitars, but I like the guitar on this one.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I do think also that the first two verses were better, the Spanish verses, and I did think it was weird. Not weird, but I also think it should have stayed for the third verse. Should have stayed in Spanish as well. That's what I feel about this one.
Now this is a day in the life of a dog off the streets packing heat, raised in the smog set claiming, gun banging, dope slanging, balls hanging.
Apparently this track happens to be Mr. G's favorite track off the album. Maybe it's because El Corrido is dedicated to his homies. I don't know exactly why.
Now, off that first album, Here's to You, what is your favorite song on there?
The Here's to You album, I think my favorite song was El Corrido.
Here's my thoughts. The instrumental is all right. It's grown on me. The first time I heard it, fucking over a dozen years ago, I wasn't really big on it, but every time that I sit down and listen to an album thoroughly, because we're going to review it, certain songs happen to grow on me, and this is one of them. I think this beat should have started at the 22-second mark, because there's a certain sound or instrument or noise that starts, and then it repeats throughout the song. But I wish that faint sound would have been a little bit more prevalent, and it would have made the song a lot better. And I'll play that clip for you guys so you guys understand what I'm talking about, because it does sound pretty dope.
A mí me vale, hago desmadre, no salen de mis jales, ya saben, soy el perro de las calles, tiro como el gallo, listo pa' los tiros.
I think the effort was there. His vocabulary is versatile enough for coherent sentences in Spanish. And up to this point, I think I concur with what Six said. Up to this point, I don't think there was too many Spanish rap songs made. I think there was, several Spanglish songs that preceded this. But I think, who is it? Sinful's El Pecador was probably the other one that was contemporary with its time.
Es el bellaco de bajo que rompe cráneos, 12 años en este negocio, pregúntale a mi socio, reconocido por varios en diferentes barrios.
But if you listen to his vocabulary, it's not too pocho, but it is there, knowing that he speaks more Spanish than the average Chicano, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
However, there is way that he stresses his rhymes in a hardcore pocho sense, a very pocho delivery, so I think you guys can pick up on that.
Mi destino era ser asesino, cada bala vale, cuando le jales al gatillo, amanece en el río frío.
It's not as natural as Sinful's rap, the Sinful from the Mexicans. His delivery is a little bit more natural and relaxed. But to his defense, I've heard Wicked from Brownside stress his syllables like that too. Sometimes, he'll be like, "in your mental pendejo," it's like some shit like that. But you know what I'm talking about.
Taking a little trip to the east side, South Central. In your mental pendejo.
But not sure if any of you guys caught this, but a part of verse 2 was used on the It Ain't Easy song from the West Coast Gambinos compilation from 1999.
I have that album, but I haven't caught that.
I haven't heard that either.
I need to take a listen to that. I need to take a listen to that again.
Yeah, I'll compare the songs for the listeners and for you guys when I edit this, and I'll play them back to back so you guys can pick up.
Este es el corrido de los perros callejeros, guerrilleros, pistoleros, vivimos por el cohete. Soy el perro callejero, el guerrillero, y sin el cohete soy el mero mero. Yo los clavo como el martillo, soy helado, estilo frío, el mundo es mío. Así les llego, no soy ciego, bien vivo, el efectivo, estilo frío, el mundo es mío. Marihuano, chicano, gambino. Se hace el jale con la plata, el cohete mata. Así les llego, soy juego, el efectivo, pa'l dinero, soy bajero.
So part of the verses were recycled and used for that song, which makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because G says that between I think the second and third album is when they were recording this compilation, the West Coast Gambinos.
In between the second and the third album, we put out that West Coast Gambinos compilation. That was like in '99.
So it makes sense that it's all kind of relatively the same time, and probably rehashed some of that verse and used it on that shit. But yeah, that's something I caught. So I thought Luis would have caught it because he catches everything too.
No, I didn't catch this one. Actually, well, as far as West Coast Gambinos, I usually skip the Lawless part.
Really?
I don't know. I skip that.
Man, don't be a hater from the hater area, dog. Just kidding, dog. I love everybody in LA County, man. I just like the clown. Now on to everybody's favorite song, Everyday Player, baby. I love this fucking song, and I know my boy out in Canada, J-Function, loves this shit too, but this is the motherfucking jam right here. I could have written an entire page to how incredible this fucking song is, but let me elaborate a little bit or simplify it. The composition of the instrumental is amazingly done, so kudos to Tony A. He created this masterful tune. The melody is engaging from the jump. The song is the epitome of G-Funk. You got the chorus that's on point. You know, the female vocals really highlight the jam, so shout out to Diane Gordon. She did an amazing fucking job. For a long time, this was my favorite track. It still is up there, you know, but another song on here has grown on me. I mean, you really can't go wrong with the fucking Slow Pain feature.
I come sliding in the 83 Ringo, moonroof half open, bumping OD smoking.
Anytime, and this is my number 2 guy from LA, dude. ALT and Slow Pain are my absolute favorites. And so whenever I hear Slow Pain on a feature, you know, more often than not, it's a good song. So did you guys ever notice that Slow Pain always drops or makes a reference to an oldie song? Like every fucking feature or song that he's on, he always mentions an oldie.
Does he really?
Yeah, dude, he really does. And I'll play you like 3 or 4 songs back to back right now after after I'm done editing. You'll see like he's always making a reference to an oldie. In this song, he says, "I got 2 lovers and I ain't ashamed."
Slow playing Mr. Groove, just playing the game. It's so rough, it's so tough to gang bang through more bounce ounce like the old school. Slow pain, the one and only Casanova OG. Like R. Kelly, your body's calling me like Heat Sweat. Let's make it last forever. Sitting shotgun with a 40 on my lap. It's so rough, it's so tough on CD by the Zap.
Yeah, that's another song. Yeah, I think he also mentions, you know, he's playing Kool and the Gang and some other shit, and he's always dropping hints at oldies, but I pay attention to the shit that he does, you know?
Yeah, we gonna party damn all night, 12 o'clock on the dot, so we shake the spot, bumping Kool in the Gang's too hot.
There's one other thing I wanted to include. So when I first heard this song, I had to share it on YouTube with everybody. So I posted it on YouTube, and one of the comments, I was going back and reviewing this, and there was this comment that somebody left, and it really, like, this is one of those things that I have with mainstream listeners and how the mainstream treats Chicanos involved in music. So when I first posted this song on YouTube, some motherfucker said that this song was missing a black voice and that Mr. G had an accent. Motherfucker said that as if black rappers themselves don't have accents. Again, I've told you guys that I can't fucking stand Bun B and Pimp
Down
C
south.
from the South. I can't stand Southern rappers because of that fucking thick, hideous accent.
There ain't nothing else they can do these things for somebody. Man, look at this thing, man. Man, this boy's dangerous, man. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, like guys like Boozy and Webby, they're horrible.
Oh, dog. I mean, you can go on and on with Southern rappers and that black accent from the South, and it's just fucking horrible, dog. I mean, even black accents from New York, I can't fucking stand, dog.
And you know what? A lot of people always tell me like why I'm always so out there, why I'm so hyped, why all of this.
Yeah, as a whole, the whole reason I got into Chicano rap was because I wanted to get away from, rappers dropping N-bombs, and that was like my fucking exit and my salvation here is just listening to non-black rappers. But to hear somebody say that, this song needed a black voice, it kind of struck a chord with me. You know what I mean?
Mexican, hitting you with verse 2, make sure that it's fresh again. For me to freak the funk and work it like I wreck it.
My thoughts on Everyday Player. I like the song. Diane Gordon and Tony A, they carry Mr. G across, man. And also Slow Pain. Slow Pain closes out the song smooth, but Mr. G just doesn't do it for me in this song. But everybody else, they carried Mr. G across this whole song, man.
I'm telling you, it's the features, bro. The features are what fucking makes the song as well as the production.
LT, what about your thoughts?
I have no proof, but I think this one was written by Slow Pain all the way through, and just Mr. G couldn't carry it, right? But
he fumbled. That fool, he fumbled.
Yeah, and I saw he threw a little diss at the East Side.
Yeah.
No, you guys thought that, but I heard.
Don't confuse me with the rest of the lames, because I represent the West in this game.
So don't confuse me with the rest of them lanes, because I represent the West in this game.
Yeah.
So let me explain that for Six, because he might not know. So there's another group out in Wilmas that came out before Lawless, or probably around the same time. That group is called Brown Pride.
I know you had Brown Pride. I don't want to confuse that, and I need to point that out, that it's not Brown Side.
Right, Brown Pride.
Brown Pride.
Is that the orange cover with like the 4 dudes on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's them. So they're banging East Side Wilmas, and Lawless is from the West Side.
I didn't know those fools were from Wilmas. Okay.
Yeah, so those fools are from a specific neighborhood called L Street. Or I'm sorry, specific clique of Eastside Wilmas, and that's L Street.
Talking about the east side, boot ride, can't run, can't hide. Fuck with the brown side, that's suicide. Coming from Wilmas, the east side of town, where levels get beat down when it's time to throw down. Let me take you on a little trip as we jump in the ramp and cruise the L Street strip, going up and down and up. Living the lifestyle that don't give a fuck. It's the east side song, it's the east side hit, it's the east side thing with some east side shit. That's how it is in this part of town.
Anytime that you hear him say lops, lames, or whatever, he's making a reference to specifically that neighborhood. So if anybody's listening, I'm not meaning any disrespectful. I'm just adding some context to what is being said. I got love for everybody from everywhere, so I don't really give a shit where anybody's coming from, but I just wanted to elaborate on this song.
As far as the production, I do like the beat, and I also think that every rapper should have used Diane Gordon. Because some of the girls they use for singing sometimes for their choruses are not too pleasant to the ears.
But who's the other
she
female? Diane Gordon, and there's another female. What's her name?
There's Diane Gordon, there's Nancy Fletcher, and there was it the white woman?
No, you're right. Nancy Fletcher was the other person I was thinking of.
Okay. Now, fellas, who wants to open up American Dream?
I like it.
I like it a lot.
It's one of that's probably my favorite track off the album. I like West Side Graham. I think on this one, sorry guys, I'm gonna mention every time I think who wrote it. On this one, I think it was written by Esadas. As far as Mr. G's verse.
Really?
Well, just just my thought. I don't have the credits in front of me to look at it, but I doubt he is. But I just like the style of their rapping, the style of because you could tell, like you get used to like a certain rappers, like especially your favorite rappers, because Acid Dash was one of my favorite rappers, and so you could tell they have the style of when they're writing something, and some of the things he says, as far as like some of the like they'll mention the same type of things on different songs that they wrote, that they recorded for themselves and all that. I don't know if it's on this song. I think it's on this song where he says something about the ones. I don't know what they're talking about, but I've heard him say it. I heard Mr. G say it on. I think it's on this song.
Fuck the ones, I got them straight paid off. I send the cheaper police and Reno to play golf.
Under the blue light, sitting on the table, surrounded by money, drugs, and guns. Fuck the ones.
Okay, interesting. What about you, Six? What do you think?
Man, I like this song because it's really different. It stands out more. I love the replayed version of Jimi Hendrix's Voodoo Child, obviously by musician Stuart Weiland, that Tony A hired, along with Tony's touch. This song definitely, with West Side Grim, with Mr. G, it basically pretty much there's more motivation and energy. It shows off that at least Mr. G has some kind of versatility in him.
Cause I'm your butcher 24, 7 days a week, except for them holidays, I'm only moving the keys and quarter peas.
So I love this song. I just got one quick little childhood memory with this song. I used to be a big wrestling fan, okay? So this song, for a short period of time, used to be one of Hulk Hogan's ring entrance theme songs. And that shit was bad. That shit was badass. I'm not talking about red and yellow Hulk Hogan, say your prayers, eat your vitamins Hulk Hogan. I was talking about Hollywood Hulk Hogan, the E one. That fool would come out to the fucking ba-bow, ba-bow, bow, 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 bow.
I think you know what that's all about. That's Hollywood Hogan. That's gonna lead him in, and I'm sure that Big Tom is gonna be with him.
Come out with the big gold WCW championship belt and would act like he was playing it as a guitar. Classic moments in my childhood, man. And I give this song a go.
Okay. I did not like this song when I first heard it. And for the first, 10 years that I heard the song, I really wasn't big on it. And again, as I mentioned, as I've been playing this album front and back, for a month straight, just to get a feel for this album, I think it's grown on me a little bit. I do appreciate the Jimi Hendrix nod right there, so that was dope. That Voodoo Child interpolation was dope. I'm glad to hear some variety in the sampling or the interpolation. I'm not big on the beat, but I am really interested and captivated by the rapping, right? So the title and the theme of the rap song reminds me of some Scarface movie plot for some reason.
We gotta expand the whole operation, distribution, New York, Chicago, LA.
But outside of his appearances with Spanish Fly, you can hear West Side Grim has is West Side Grim from Wilmas too, dog, or no?
Yeah, he's also from the West Side.
Ah, okay. Interesting. I didn't know that.
West Side Grim, West Side.
It's because the only times I heard West Side Grim, he was on the Shaft Gangsta Clique, wasn't he?
Oh, I think he was. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so I always thought he was some fucking Crip or some shit, and I didn't realize he was Mexican until like way later and shit. But the other thing I wanted to ask is, have you guys heard the remix for this song?
No,
I have not.
It's my American dream. I got that money, power, bitches, and dope, below and lower hydro.
Yeah, I just found it on YouTube, and you know how on the interview with Tony A, Mr. G says that he's thinking about taking it back to old school hip hop beats and shit.
Pretty soon I'll probably release something new. It ain't gonna be the same old stuff that y'all used to hear that I used to put out back in the day. It's mostly kind of old school hip hop beats. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the kind of direction I want to go in. I want to take the old school back.
That remix has I don't know. I guess you could hear like a modern take on old school hip hop beats. So it's not bad, but it's very recent. You can definitely tell that the production is recent. But I just wanted to throw out there that there's a
Okay, good looking.
Yeah.
I was on Westside Grimm's on Instagram, and I just noticed he had mentioned like a few months ago, and I think he gets like butt hurt easily. He posted a post about Tony G was talking about that he hadn't worked with anybody from the West Side until he worked with Lawless, and then but he mentioned that his Card Date song actually was recorded first with Tony A.
Probation violate, they wanna throw the book at me. Looking at my long motherfucking criminal history. The DA ain't kicking no slack. Trying to send me up the river for somebody else's Kriznak.
I don't know. That was just a little side.
Okay, so just to clarify for the listeners, you said Tony G at first, but you meant Tony A, right?
I meant Tony A, yeah. That's what it
Yeah, that song that you're talking about is on that Lowrider compilation, right? The 2000, or what is it called? Right? No, 99, right?
99. I think it's on the 99. I know I've seen it on a few compilations. The Card Date. I guess it was originally going to come out on that. There's a Esadas and Westside Grimm album that never came out. It used to be on YouTube. A lot of the songs used to be on YouTube, and they got taken down. But it was going to. Yeah, it was called. I think you might still be able to find a few of them. It's called the Kriznak Theory. And,
you know what's funny is that Esadas mentions Kriznak on that song, "The Money," from the Southside Riders compilation. So that makes sense.
I don't want to, but I gotta make my fatty, yeah. Even if these people going local up that Kriznak.
I think that song might have been from that CD that never came out. They put out like three or four of the songs on different compilations, but they never put out the whole. Like if you hear it, well, back then if you heard it on the YouTube, if you heard all the songs, there was a probably 17 or 18 tracks, and a lot of them were new, but there was a few that were on compilations.
Damn, did you ever save any of them?
No, I didn't. I still looked.
Damn it, Luis.
I saw it once. I didn't see it for sale, but I saw that it sold like maybe like a burned copy, like out in Japan or somewhere. So I'm still looking for it. I still look for it once in a while.
Yeah, Japan be fucking bootlegging all sorts of shit, dude.
Right?
Yeah. So hey, good glitch on that shit. I wasn't aware that there was a Esadas and Westside Grimm album. I really love the features that Westside Grimm has had with Spanish Fly, so that's dope.
Yeah, no, he's dope. I like him a lot. I like his music a lot.
I like it a lot. Okay, but what about On Top of the Game? What's up with that one?
Take it away, Six.
The vocals by Diane, the beat by Tony A, and Nino Brown kicking off the start of the song. Literally, that's 3 stars aligning right there. I definitely I love this song, man. I can just picture like a drinks, fly outfits, sexy ladies just chilling in the lounge. The song is smooth. It's just Mr. G barely did enough to hang, man. The song could have been better on Mr. G's part.
You know who got the bomb? Mr. G, Lawless clique, so it's on to the break of dawn. Ain't no stopping when you know it's popping. It's on and racking, we're cracking.
That's a pretty constant theme throughout the whole CD, right? But
yes.
Yeah, I first heard the song on the Brown Pride Riders. It was on, I think, Volume 1, and I like it. I always thought it was a Nino Brown song since I heard that first before I heard this Lawless CD.
And also because there's like 2 Nino Brown verses in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought it was just a Lawless feature, but I guess not.
I didn't even catch that. So as far as for myself, I hadn't caught that idea that this could have been a Nino Brown song and they just fucking threw G on there. But this is the other song that I mentioned earlier that has really grown on me. I fucking love this song, dog. Just the composition of this instrumental alone, I could just fucking vibe to it for days. Diane Gordon kills it once more. I mean, what can I say? Her vocals are superb. Now, here's where I differ on both of you. I actually think that Nino Brown doesn't even sound like he's rapping in the first verse. So I feel disconnected or disengaged when I'm listening to that first track or that first verse.
Now look what I found, my old demo tape, and it's still bumping. Got my brand new navy blue sweats on with my brand new $100 kicks on.
It sounds like he's just having a conversation with himself, and it's not even in rhyme. You know what I mean? Like
More like
it's
an
weird.
introduction, more like describing a situation.
Yeah. You know how like a bunch of rappers, like when they're done with their verses, at the end of the song, they'll do like a conversation, but in somewhat of a rhyme.
Yeah, like they're shout outs in another way.
Yeah, they're kind of
Another
shout
way,
outs,
yeah.
but they're rhyming. I know Tupac has done a few of them, and I forget who else has done shit like that. But like they'll rhyme kind of, but they're just more having a conversation. And this is how I felt that Nino Brown's verse was.
Oh, like Jay-Z and Imaginary Player. That's a good example.
Yeah, that could be one. I didn't get the impression that he was really rapping. So you know how like sometimes rappers will charge a different amount on their verse depending on how good it is. I felt like this was that shit. You know what I mean? But to me, G comes off smoother than Nino Brown does, and that hook is what draws you in. You know, for whatever reason, my favorite part is Nino Brown saying,
Puffin' on some Monte Cristos from Havana, yeah. It's just a lawless, on top of the game.
That part right there, dog, that's just fucking smooth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I listen to it, I'm like, damn, rewind that shit. You know what I mean?
Because who else is gonna say that? You know?
Yeah, right.
Or anything close to that.
I love the way that this ends and it segues into the next track where you hear Diane Gordon saying, that shit is dope. Segue into The Enemy. Who wants to take this one away?
I like it a lot. I do.
I like it a lot.
Want to hear the original, but as far as when I'm feeling angry, I'll drive listening to this song.
Fuck the motherfucking enemy. Still can't fuck with the West.
They're not my enemies. I like it. It's crazy. I had a high school girlfriend, if you call it that, from she was actually from L Street. So so it's fun hearing that this is
Oh man, that's funny. Why don't you chime in on this?
I don't like the chorus. The beat is too feel good and positive for the message of the song. I know there's history in some of the favorite songs to others, but to me personally, I just don't like the song, and especially it kills it when he's talking about that he couldn't pick a better reference and saying flushing the cerote, you know, like.
See, fools from the shit would get rushed, straight flushed, like a fucking cerote.
Yeah, I'm just not big on the song, my boy.
Okay. So I concur on that. I'm gonna second that notion. So I love this Jams instrumental. I fucking love it. I think the samples are fucking dope, right? The floaters float on song.
And my name is Red.
Real fucking dope. The bass line from Houdini. The drums, I mean, it just fucking it slaps, dog. This shit is dope. Now, I'd like to know how much more explicit the original version of the song is. You know, the first incarnation from that demo had to be scaled back to make this cut.
Now let me say something, because when I first heard that CD, I'm not gonna lie to you. Here's what went through my mind. Holy shit, these guys are gangbanging at an all-time high. And when you approached me and said, we want you to produce our record, that was one of the songs that I had to talk to you about first.
Yes, I remember.
Because I said, gee, are you sure you want to do this?
No, and we did. I mean, we cut it down, but we still ran with the majority of the song.
Right. Okay.
So, you know, I want to know what the hell that sounded like. But, you know, obviously we all know it's dedicated to those rival neighborhoods surrounding, you know, the area. there are two things that ruined this song for me. And I will concur with what my boy Six was saying. The chorus. I'm not big on the fucking chorus.
Fuck the motherfucking enemy. Still can't fuck with the West.
And number two, the use of the word shit. Now, I know what he's referring to. Again, anybody from Harbor City, I apologize if this offends you, but it is Harbor City who they're talking about, right, LT?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so I grew up in Oceanside, and that was one of the names that they had for a rival neighborhood there, too. And out of respect for a lot of the friends that I have that grew up on both sides, I'm not going to say the neighborhood, but I don't feel comfortable playing this song because I feel it's disrespectful to some of the homies I grew up with. But I still like the shit. You know what I mean? You know, it just makes it hard to bump with the word shit on here so many times. It almost reminds me of that South Park episode where they say shit like 200 times.
Shit. Shit on shit. Shit. Shit.
Shit on shit.
Say shit on shit.
Shitty of shit is shitty. Shitty. Shitty.
Do you guys remember that?
But is that I don't remember that episode, but does Mr. Hanky come out in it? Or
No, he doesn't come out on it. But it's an episode where the network allowed the South Park creators to say the word shit, and the fucking network wasn't aware of how many times they were gonna say it, so they say shit like 200 times, and it's fucking hilarious.
I gotta see that one.
But yeah. So anyway, sometimes I just want to loop this track and replace the chorus with that loop, just so I can feel more comfortable playing the song. But I think it's a great instrumental. It's just I really wish they would have made the disses a little bit more subtle, because this could have been a radio song. Yeah, this shit would have been fucking slapping, dude. But you know, on to the last track, dude. Here's to you. Who wants to take this one away?
LT.
It's a good. I mean, I understand their message, like I spoke to the haters, but it's like the beat is too happy for the subject, right? And it always reminds me of like a Christmas song or something. Yeah, and those are my thoughts on this one.
Okay, short and sweet, sounds good. What about you, Six? You got a little bit more glitch on this, so I want you to take it away and give it a shot.
Okay, all right, here we go. The beat is just too jolly. It doesn't match like the West Coast sound that I'm looking for. I don't know why, but I just get these Puff Daddy, Loon, Mace, Chingy vibes off the beat. I definitely don't like the chorus. It's offbeat. And what happened? They couldn't pay Diane Gordon one more song. Like, it just the song. It just reminds me of a generic sound. I don't know how to describe it, but I've said this before in a previous episode. This song reminds me of like the songs that like they come out in like the TV series or lower budget films where you can't even name or find out who rapped the song. Other examples where you can find it is like the rap songs you hear, even though it's not a low budget film. The songs that you hear on Alpha Dog. There's rap songs, but you know you just don't know who the hell raps them. As far for Kid Frost, disappointed. I mean, there's some rappers that know how to recycle their words, their stick. Nino Brown could be one of them. Little One, that they can do it in a smooth way. But Kid Frost is like, come on, like nothing has evolutionized. Same thing, same routine. Raza, que pasa, calabaza. It roots back to, you know. I'm just not big on it. It just sounds too jolly. Not big on this song.
Hey, Holmes, guess who's back in the casa? Big Daddy Frost put it down for the raza. So que pasa? Who got game like I do?
I think that rhyme scheme is the limitations of a Chicano's vocabulary, and I can let that slide because I grew up So I've said this before. I was born in Mexico, and I was raised there up until I like 5 or 6 years old, and then the rest of the time was down here in Southern California. And I can speak Spanish. The limitations of my Spanish are framed by my American prerogative. You know what I'm saying? And so I can understand why Kid Frost's vocabulary is limited. But I think you mentioned something else that source close to you mentioned to you that chorus, I'm sorry, that verse was ghostwritten for Frost.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Correct. Ah, thank you, dude. I completely forgot about that. Slow Pain wrote Kid Frost's verse.
So that's the thing too, is that I actually like it, and it's so funny that you mentioned that, because Slow Pain's verse is what stands out. So before I get into that, let me give you my 2 cents on the overall concept of the song. I think it brings the album to a close in a right manner, because it starts off very like hardcore, and then it just kind of smooths out the last 3 songs, and it gets very like, I don't know, it puts you in a certain vibe. And it's obviously it's the titular track to the fucking album, right? So it shares the same name as the album. It contains an intricate sample of "Here's to You" by Sky. And I've only heard this. Well, I've only recognized this sample one other time, and that was on a song by Gospel Gangsters, but they weren't sampling that part of the song. Or I guess the song, the Lawless song, is more of an interpolation of the chorus and not necessarily the full-on beat of that song. So when I edit this, I'll put those 2 songs together so you guys can understand what I'm talking about.
Take a ride with the solo, looks in my rear view. Then I see the popo, all on my own. No, why do they trail me? They must have never heard that original Gospel Gangsta LP.
But it's funky with the roster of G-Funk. I'm sorry, G-Spot heavy hitters, Frost and Slow Pain. Frost even alludes to this being part 2 of Eastside Rendezvous.
Got game like I do. Eastside Rendezvous, part 2.
Kind of gives you some Friday weekend vibes. You know what I'm saying? The song itself has always been a favorite of mine.
I like it a lot.
And with that sweet production from Tony A, I actually enjoy it. So yeah, I agree with you. It is very pop-like. It does sound happy, and it does have those cheerful vibes. But I think if you look at the full scope of the album, you have one contrasting theme of starting off hardcore and rugged, and then the last 3 songs really smooth out to that G-Funk vibe of just riding, cruising, and chilling out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I can appreciate how that was done, and the vision for that. It does have that P. Diddy / Bad Boy vibes.
Bad Boy vibe, yes. That's when More Money, More Problems came out, and that's when Mace's debut album was out too. So yeah, I would say yeah.
Yeah, so probably. It could have been, again, this album does bear a lot of those mainstream sounds. As we were talking about, it doesn't have that underground feel. Altogether, you can feel the chemistry between the artists and the producers. The byproduct was clean. It's smooth, sharp, and crisp. I just think it really brings a good close to the album. It smooths out all the rough edges on the album. So that's the way I want to put it out. How do you guys feel about the album as a whole?
As a whole, I like it. I like most of it. There's those few songs that I skip, but I like the overall work on it. I like it more now than I did when I first heard it. Yeah, it's still not my favorite Lawless CD, but I could listen to it more than half of it now.
Blasphemy. What about you, Six?
My closing thoughts, I'm gonna just use and compare it to an old hobby of mine, which would be team sports. I enjoy the album. It definitely is an album that I will agree on you both. It does grow on you. But honestly, I'm gonna say the obvious, and I'm gonna repeat myself again. But this time, I'm gonna use a sports analogy to break it down. I look at Mr. G as a game managing quarterback. What is a game managing quarterback? It's that despite the individual stats like passing yards and touchdowns, that being his rapping, flow, and delivery, he makes low number of mistakes, and does enough to hang with his own album. Now, game managing quarterbacks benefit from a strong defense and a strong rushing offense. So in this album, that would be the producers and the musicians. So Mr. G is not a good game managing quarterback like maybe Jeff Garcia or Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson, but he's more along the lines of like Kyle Norton or John Kitna, you know. So those are my closing thoughts, man. So I'm just disappointed in that Mr. G was kind of, you know, given what is it, the silver spoon or the golden platter? Como se dice in the mouth? Or the point is, he doesn't really live up to expectation of all the other good that surrounded this album. So that's my final thoughts on the album.
Okay, you know, fair enough. There is a lot of things I can say that I agree with. Just a quick fact: did you guys know that Eli Manning's nickname was Eazy-E?
You did send a clip. You did send a clip of that.
Yeah. I'll put that up for you guys to understand that reference. But yeah,
I remember that clip. I remember when you sent me that clip.
Hi, I'm Eli Manning. Some of the players call me Easy. You know, I'm not a rapper or anything. Easy, or just because I don't cause a lot of problems.
This album comes at a strong recommendation for me. I think that if you are building a foundation for your collection of underground Chicano artists, like, I think this is a must-have. I haven't really thoroughly listened to the other albums by Lawless, but this one just it's at that sweet spot of, you know, that time frame of Chicano rap coming up and putting nothing but fucking quality out there. So I really like this.
I like it a lot.
I can say, you know, a few more things about this. Primarily that this album sits at a perfect length. You know, the production behind this release is what drives this project. If you don't already own it, I think it's worth adding to your collection. I will say that this is a classic. I just fucking love it. It's not perfect, but I understand that it's rough, it's rugged. You know, even G and Tony A have said that, you know, Homeboy's skills sharpened as he progressed in his career. And
I remember when we started working on the second album, I saw your style. If I'm looking for the right word, that your skill, progressing a lot, man. And I was like, okay, that's the guy right there that I've been looking for. Because I still thought on the first one, I thought it was dope, but possibly a little bit of Little Green. Yeah, you know. Of course.
I think it's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the effort was there. I think the production was a driving force behind this, and of course, the features. You know what I mean? The features are what really kept this album together. And you know, I would say that I would replace a few songs. You know, if I could correct this or add my input, would be number one, remove the song Can I don't like that song. I would have added Bed Drama because it has a doper sample. If you don't already know it, it samples Oh Honey by the Delegations, and it samples, oh hell yeah, dude. And it samples Leon, what's his name, Hayworth or whatever, the guy
Leon
Haywood, there we go, the guy that made the song I Want to Do Something Freaky to You. That Tony A's composition on that sample or interpolation, it's fucking genius. So that should have been on this fucking song. I'm sorry, on this album instead of Can I? And lastly, just I wish they would have cleaned up The Enemy a little bit more. You know, remove the fucking chorus, and you know, even if it didn't have a chorus, that song would be a 10 out of 10. You know what I mean? Any shout outs you want to give?
Nobody. No, I'm kidding.
Any exes from Texas? No, I'm just kidding.
None from Texas. Nah, let me just plug in. We put out my friend's CD. It actually was put out 10 years ago and online only, and we actually pressed up a few copies. So if you look up Estilo Envy and Hate, stream it, download it, whatever you want. We have it up everywhere except for iTunes. And I have a few more. Albums I'm working on getting put out by a few different artists. So hopefully that'll come in later this year or early next year. I don't want to give too much because I don't have the final product yet. But once it's here, I'll be promoting it more.
Yeah, let me know, dog. I'll have you back on the show, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. Any shout-outs you want to give, Six?
Actually, no, man. I'll just give the shout-outs to you. I just want to say, for anyone that's listening, just give a follow to the Instagram page of the G-Funk Junkies podcast, and also to LT. He has a real good page if you definitely want to learn about original pressings and just Chicano rap history. Shout out your page, doggy. I think you can actually follow it.
No, it's cool. It's at 23 LBC 23.
There you go. Good page. Yeah. Good page.
That one has all my collection. I've been putting it up little by little. I get to whenever I have time or whenever I feel like it. I take pictures of the CDs that I have, and I'll put little stories about how I came across it, or pretty much.
You have one of the biggest collections I know, and obscure shit too, man. But how big is your collection?
I want to say it's about. I have a lot of duplicates that I gotta. I'm not sure. I gotta count it. I gotta actually count it because I want to make a catalog of it. I did one about 10 years ago, and it was about 1,000 back then. But so it's probably closer to 2,000, and mostly Chicano rap. There's a few black rappers that I listen to, but it's about I want to say about 1,500 to 2,000 CDs of random Chicano rappers.
That's crazy. You know, the homie LT is my plug, and sometimes he's hooked me up with shit that I couldn't find before. So I appreciate him for coming on. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. And, you know, it's a pleasure to have you on here. And I've been knowing Homeboy since it's been years. But yeah, man, you know, I just want to give a few more shout outs. Number one, I want to give a shout out to Funk over there at CalifaRap.net and everybody in Germany that's listening. To the gente in Taiwan, saludos. The homie J Function in Canada and the rest of the Canucks listening. I appreciate you all. Everybody in France, the UK, Japan. Arigato gozaimasu. I think that's how you say thank you for listening or some shit. We even got listeners in South Africa, bro. So that's dope. But with that said, you know, as I always say,
just chill till the next episode. Boom.